Top 3 most creepy and astonishing ghost photos that were captured during paranormal investigations that I helped lead this past year in 2025. And there's been quite a few that I helped lead in Texas and New York and even here in Los Angeles. Now, before those investigations occur, I always encourage those who participate to take as many photos as they can, along with video footage, because you never know. Once in a while, we do capture something that we fully can't explain. So let's rip this haunted band-aid and let's look at the first one. Coming in as the top contender. Now, this picture was taken the first night of our paranormal investigation of Old Town Spring during the Dinner with the Dead event in the former home goods store of Fads. Now, this picture was taken by my paranormal bestie, Roberto. Robert, you know who you are. Now, a bit of the background of the history and the haunted history of Fads is that Fads used to be a group of Sears craftsman homes that were relocated in the early 1900s in Old Town Spring. You see, there was a husband and wife that used to live in one of the homes, and it is said that the husband had unalived his wife, and it is said that it is her spirit that is connected to those craftsman homes. And then obviously, number 2, an oldie but a goodie. In December of 2025, I led a public investigation over at the Memory Park by the San Fernando Mission, and surrounding legends that pretty much covered this entire property was that of the woman in white. This was taken around 10:15 at night. I had sent a group further out into this location to start taking photos. Now, many people said that it was Photoshop, which, I mean, for all of us who were there, we saw this group taking photos, especially the gentleman that took this photo in real time. Like, if you have Photoshop on your phone, you know how long it takes just to open the app, log in, and start putting in those layers. It's a pain. Now, he showed me his phone. He showed me the apps on his phone, nothing out of the ordinary, but I thought it was a really, really good catch. This one is interesting. This one was captured in Lilydale. This was captured by our friend, the haunted therapist. I'm going to tag her down below. This was an investigation that was led also by Tawny Lewis. We were in the woods and we were told of certain activity in this woods. There are also elementals. Now, we were here by the inspiration stump. I promise you that whatever or whoever this is was definitely not a part of the group. Looks like there's like 3 faces, like 1, 2, and 3. It looks very disturbing. But these photos were genuinely taken, and these were images that were captured. So let me know in the comments if you captured anything strange and unusual during your paranormal investigations, and always remember to stay haunted.
Lewis and Clark were using Sacagawea as an interpreter with the native people as they ventured into the Wild West. And before they got to the Rocky Mountains, they realized, oh my gosh, we're going to need horses to be able to survive this thing. So they were trying to negotiate with the chief of the tribe of the one that was closest to them. And as Sacagawea is interpreting, she breaks down hysterically, crying because she realizes that she's talking to her long-lost brother, who told her that she was abducted as a kid to be a slave by one of the neighboring tribes. And I was just, as I found that story out, I was like, what is this poor girl not gone through? Anyways, this is my driver, and you can learn more about it at the Lewis and Clark diary. I don't know, it's probably online, but this is my Radmore fit. If you like it, you can shop their page and we can twin. Trying to get this to go high in the sky, but I also can't tell where it's going because the golf ball is the same color as these clouds.
Hey everybody, it's Palm Beach Pete. Where am I now? I'm in LA. Vegas to LA, shooting some content. Back to Vegas, more content. Keep it real, stay alive, be happy.
Every day, we're pointed more evidence towards Palm Beach Pete being Jeffrey Epstein. He keeps giving us clues, which are pretty obvious clues because they're right out there in plain sight. And everybody knows that this guy actually is Epstein. Like, no one's fooled by him, and they just think it's funny at this point. But it's not really funny. And, you know, Jeffrey Epstein had his own private jet as well, called the Lolita Express. And you do not want to know what they did with his plane, because most private jets do not have a ladder in the back where, like, you could throw bodies out of. You know, like you see Air Force One, you see Trump walking up. It's always from the side. Not a lot of planes have this. This was custom built so that Jeffrey Epstein and his friends could dump bodies out in the Pacific Ocean. So, and no one would ever find those bodies, too. If they're in the middle of the ocean, no one's going to find that. But if you had it on the side, that'd be a lot more difficult to do because of, like, air pressure and stuff. It'd, like, suck everything out. But this is a nice, easy opening. Like, you know, when people go skydiving, it's always with a plane that has a back opening because something with like the flow of air, it makes it much easier to just jump out that way. So yeah, hidden in plain sight right here.
Today, the internet has been sent into a frenzy over this headline. The bullet used to kill Charlie Kirk did not match the rifle allegedly used by suspect Tyler Robinson. Now, this article from Daily Mail has received over 14 million views in under 10 hours and has sparked hundreds of posts suggesting that conspiracy theorists were right again and that Tyler Robinson is not the shooter. But it's not that simple. Let's start with the part that is true. A recent analysis from the ATF, an official law enforcement agency, could not conclusively connect a bullet fragment recovered during an autopsy to the rifle found near the scene. And now, because of this, the defense for Tyler Robinson is arguing in court that they need to delay the preliminary hearing because they may now want to use this finding along with others for his defense. Now, here's why this headline could be misleading. The main thing is that an inconclusive result literally means there's not enough information to say yes or no. Anything else is presenting uncertainty as proof. Not to mention that inconclusive ballistic results are not that uncommon. One study, for example, by Forensic Science International found that their examiners had inconclusive results in about 20% of casework calls. That's about 1 in 5. And the reason it is so tricky to determine is because experts are looking for these microscopic markings that are left on a bullet as it passes through the gun's barrel. And these tiny scratches are like fingerprints in that no two guns have identical markings. But when the bullet is damaged and fragmented into so many tiny pieces, it's sometimes impossible to conclusively match these markings with its original gun. And that's what seems to be happening here. Now, what that means for this trial is that Tyler's defense may try and use this inconclusive result to clear him of blame, while the prosecution will aim to demonstrate that they have other evidence against him, like alleged text, DNA, etc. But the question is, what do you guys think about it?
I'm not into all the woo-woo, but I'm a little mystical, right? So apparently the Earth has a chakra system and all of these locations are supposed to be sacred portals. I'm curious if any of them lead to Agartha or the center Earth. Just kidding. Maybe. Anyways, this is my driver, and I'm allowed to have fun on this channel. Let me live. Let me live. Here we go. Straight to Agartha.
The informant became convinced that Epstein was a co-opted Mossad agent. This is one of the most shocking documents in all of the Epstein files. This is a FBI report tip sheet. And what's interesting about this is this doesn't come from an unverified random source. The person who's providing this information to the FBI is called a confidential human source, or a CHS, which is the new term for an informant. Basically like a person that would go undercover with the mafia to bust the mob, or someone that would go undercover with the cartel to bust Pablo Escobar. That's what a CHS was, or is, I should say. And this confidential informant figured some things out about Epstein that are pretty shocking, which makes this entire thing all the more credible because it isn't a random person. This is a source that the FBI has worked with for a long time, that they trust, that they have specifically planted in this world to gather information. So this comes in 2020. Let me just read you this paragraph. Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz. Alan Dershowitz has been linked to Epstein many times. CHS, the informant, learned that Dershowitz influenced many students from wealthy families. For example, Josh Kushner and Jared Kushner were both his students. Obviously, we know Jared Kushner, married to Ivanka Trump, integral in the Trump administration. Dershowitz told CHS, the informant, that if he were young again, he would be holding a stun gun as an Israeli intelligence Mossad agent. The confidential informant believed Dershowitz was co-opted by Mossad and subscribed to their mission. CHS, the informant, still continues to communicate occasionally for Dershowitz. And then it says, see previous reporting, but I couldn't find any previous reporting from this person or on this topic. But then we got Epstein. Epstein was represented by Dershowitz. The informant remembered Dershowitz tell Alex Acosta, U.S. Attorney of Southern District of Florida at the time, that Epstein belonged to both U.S. and allied intelligence services. That is very important. CHS shared phone calls between Dershowitz and Epstein, during which she took notes. So this confidential informant listened to phone calls between Alan Dershowitz and Jeffrey Epstein, listened in on their calls, tapped their phone, and took notes. After these calls, Mossad, which is the Israeli CIA, would then call Alan Dershowitz to debrief. Epstein was close to the former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, and trained as a spy under him. Barak believed Netanyahu was a criminal. Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the UAE are allied against Qatar, Turkey, Iran, and Syria. One of CHS, the informants, Blank, who presumably worked Blank, asked CHS a lot of questions about Epstein. The informant became convinced that Epstein was a co-opted Mossad agent. So here we have allegations in writing from a confidential informant for the FBI that Jeffrey Epstein and others were working for foreign and domestic intelligence services. It is right there in the files, but nobody is talking about this. And this isn't from a random person, it's from a confidential informant. But why don't you let me know your thoughts on it?
Everyone's been complaining about gas prices, but have you been paying attention to your mileage? This man was driving through his neighborhood when he noticed something and was then able to catch it on camera. Because as he was driving, he was noticing that his gas mileage was dropping significantly, starting at around 352 miles per gallon left. As he's driving between 15 to 30 miles per hour through his neighborhood, steadily watching this go down. This man was only driving a few yards and was losing miles from his gas tank, questioning if he had filled up with gas that was actually water. As having only driven a few blocks, his gas tank looked as if he had already driven over 10 miles. Looking just in the span of less than 1 minute, he went from 352 miles per gallon, ending the video with only 348 miles left, meaning he burned the gas that he should have burned driving 4 miles in less than 2 city blocks. What is this exactly that would cause the gas mileage to literally plummet when you are driving a slow and steady speed through a neighborhood? I was always under the belief that if you got watered down gas and your engine would sputter and make noises as if it wasn't getting that consistent gas flow, this car was driving steady with no issues, except that this car was burning through the kind of fuel traveling feet.
Spoofing real FBI phone numbers so it looks like the call is coming from the actual place.
And talk to the officer from Social Security Administration. I repeat, for more information, call us back.
They're saying that this is how one of the scams work. You'll get a call from someone claiming to be your bank, saying that there's suspicious activity on your account. And then they'll basically say that they need to transfer you to the FBI. The person that you're going to get transferred to sounds professional, has a badge number, and pressures you to stay on the line. Dude, they will sometimes even switch up to video calls on Zoom or WhatsApp to make it look real. The FBI is currently saying that victims have been robbed, threatened, and manipulated into handing over personal information and money. Real agents will obviously show you a badge and photo, but how are you supposed to verify they're real if you ask? Because what if they're lying? And guys, an FBI agent is never gonna ask you for money or a gift card.
People are not scared enough of the ocean, and I'm here to fix that. Welcome back to another episode of Why I Stay on Land, where I give you some self-inflicted glossophobia right before bed. I'm filming this in the day because I'm trying to go easy on y'all. Last time you got real spooked. To the girl that told me to look up how long Greenland sharks live, I got a bone to pick with you. They live for 500 years. Okay, maybe that doesn't creep you out, but did you guys know that there are hundreds of sea creatures that can see you, but you can't see them? They're literally completely transparent besides their eyes. Yeah. But you know that there are things in the ocean that can see you, but you can't see it. Did you guys know that deep sea gigantism is real? There are isopods bigger than dogs. There are giant squids longer than buses. There are crab claws longer than a human torso. Look up, what was that called? The leatherback turtle? No turtle should be that big. So if the turtles and the crabs and the isopods and the squids are gigantic, what else is in there that's gigantic? Do I want to know? Megalodon, kraken, I don't even want to know how big Larry the Lobster is in real life. Leviathan, I bring this up every time, but y'all can't tell me that the bloop didn't come from Leviathan. Okay, what about the metal clanging at the bottom of the ocean? Why is there metal clanging? What's down there? Oh, what if I were to tell you that Goo Lagoon from Bikini Bottom is actually real? There are something called brine pools that are so toxic, if you touch it, you're dead. Divers call it the finger of death, something like that. There are places in the ocean where nothing can breathe. They're called, I believe, marine dead zones. Fish, no oxygen, no escape. To be honest, I have such trust issues with the ocean that I'm a believer that there are things there. Even when there's no oxygen, there's something evolving there, and it's coming to get us. May not do too much, but this is
If there was an archaeologist who discovered the blood of Jesus, but he took it to the wrong lab.
They said, Mr. Wyatt, this human blood only has 24 chromosomes in it. Everybody else has 46. You see, 23 from your mother, 23 from your father, 22 autosomes from your mother, 22 autosomes from your father. You get an X from your mother, you may get an X or a Y from your father, all right? This blood had 23 chromosomes from the mother's side, one Y chromosome only. You see, the child could not have developed if they hadn't had the autosomes from the mother. So all of his physical characteristics were determined by his mother's side of the family, her autosomes. His maleness was determined by this one Y that came from a source, not a human male. Then they said, this blood is alive. And then they said, whose blood is this? I said, it's the blood of your Messiah.
I went through a lot to find that video because it's been scrubbed from a lot of archives, and I find that weird if he's just another crazy scientist. Anyways, this is my driver, and I don't know, that's the most compelling piece of modern evidence that I've seen. I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyways, let's smash it. Oh, I almost knocked it off the tee.
Beer looks harmless, just a cold drink with friends, but alcohol quietly destroys millions of lives every year. Ready to party? Beer isn't just barley and hops. The real active ingredient is ethanol, the same alcohol used in fuel and industrial chemicals. Killer! One can could carry over 200 empty calories, drink a few every night, and your body slowly pays the price. Beer gut incoming. Some lab tests have found traces of pesticides like glyphosate showing up in multiple popular beers. You don't care though, right? Alcohol rewires the brain's reward system, slowly turning a casual drink into something your body starts needing. I'm shaking, baby. Over time, drinking can damage the liver, increase cancer risk, and break down organs your body depends on. This doesn't sound so fun anymore. Many people hide it, drinking alone, telling everyone around them they're completely fine. But deep down inside, they are lost. Until one day the job is gone, the family leaves, and the only thing still waiting is the next drink.
You're already infected. Brain rot reels.
So back in 2016 in China, ride-sharing had just been introduced to the market, and as of that same year, there was a scam that started called the ghost face scam. Let's talk about it. So here's exactly what this ghost face scam was, and honestly, it was too simple, and so many people took advantage of it. So as you can see here, these are some pretty crazy demonic-looking faces. Now that's intentional because they edited all their faces to look crazy. Are you probably asking, why would they do this? Okay, the entire point of Uber is to get as many riders as possible. Well, these drivers wanted to exploit the cancellation policy. So through pretty minor scare tactics here, they would encourage the potential rider to cancel the ride based off of the faces here, and they would collect a small little fee for that. So hypothetically, they could go throughout the entire day without picking up one rider and still make some pretty good money. Now, I did see that China put out some warnings to riders, so this doesn't seem to be a problem anymore. However, I did see on a US subreddit that this may be happening in the US. However, I will say in the US, our tolerance for freaky-looking individuals is a little higher here in the US rather than China. I'd like to hear in the comments below what you guys think about this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
It is very obvious at this point that the media has been weaponized to promote cheating propaganda, whether that's through degenerate movies like Wuthering Heights and TV shows like Love Island, or explicit websites like OnlyFans, even memes that go viral and circulate on the internet. What all this does is it subconsciously normalizes cheating. Yes, everybody knows that it's wrong, but when you see it enough, you can justify it even though you know it's wrong. But the real target is the family structure. If they can get an entire generation so insecure about cheating and willing to be unfaithful to their partners, there will, number one, be less families, but number two, when there are families, they're not as firm in their beliefs and in their faith. The family structure is the single greatest defense that our society has against moral decline. They They know that. So if they break it down, then they can compromise us all.
2026 has just gone crazier as squirrels are now officially vaping. Multiple videos have surfaced of squirrels around the world picking up vapes on the floor and using them like normal people. But experts are saying it's not because of the nicotine, it's because of the fruit flavors that are in these devices. But that still doesn't mean it's not harmful to them though. By using these devices, the squirrels can still inhale microplastics and the nicotine, which can get them addicted, as there are numerous reports of pets and animals that have died from inhaling the liquid from vapes. You shouldn't vape, but if you do, please don't litter them on the ground. You are literally killing the animals around you.
Did y'all see that demon hovering over Beverly Hills? Well, they say it was like some sort of cloud or dust cloud or something. I don't know what they even named it, but that was 100% a principality. You could not tell me different. It was so creepy. I've never seen anything like that in my life. And no, it's not AI. People were saying it was very real. Multiple people have seen it in the area, and others were like, yes, I saw it with my own eyes. This is not AI. That's why people were freaking out. Do you see that it even had legs? The way that it's moving, the spiritual realm has been truly unveiling before our eyes in this realm. Like, the veil has been lifting, and I don't know what has been the extra cause of it. If it's just the end times, is it CERN opening that portal? Is it the wickedness of sins, all of the above? I don't know, but this is getting out of hand. Even when I was in some parts of LA, before, I always felt certain regions being ruled by darkness, and I could feel it in my spirit in person, actually. So this is not surprising to see so vividly, even on camera or in real life. But baby, that is a high-ranking demon, okay? A high-ranking principality over that region. And it is showing you who it is and what it is in its natural form. Okay? Go to Jesus, praise Jesus, seek Jesus, because times are about to get crazier. We're about to see things way crazier than that.
I don't know how to feel about this because Harvard scientists recreated a 3D model of what Mary, the mother of Jesus, would look like. This person looks awfully familiar, and this is, and I quote, based on historical data from the 1st century Middle Eastern woman. I mean, it looks like Lady Gaga. It looks like Lady Gaga. Like, literally, compare this to this. I don't quite know how to feel about this. I think mainly because Lady Gaga's not Middle Eastern, but maybe Middle Eastern women look different in the 1st century. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. To the Harvard scientists who put this out, would you like to confirm or deny?
Scientists dropped a microphone to the deepest part in the ocean, and it picked up sounds that they can't even explain. So basically, NOAA sent a titanium-encased microphone down to the Challenger Deep, which is the absolute deepest point of the entire ocean at over 36,000 feet below the surface. That is almost 7 miles straight down in complete darkness. And they obviously figured that it would be completely silent down there because nothing should be making noise at that depth. Instead, they were able to record for 3 straight weeks nonstop. They were able to pick up earthquake noises that were rumbling through the ocean floor and whale calls echoing from miles above them, and also the ship propellers from boats on the surface that were thousands of feet overhead.
We were a little bit shocked because we did see a lot of other sounds. We saw ships. We saw marine mammals that were typically very near the surface.
But the part that actually freaked the scientists out is that some of the sounds that they picked up don't match anything on file. They're saying that there's low moans and high-pitched screeches that they've been analyzing since 2015, and they still can't identify what's making them. 7 miles down, screeching since 2015, and nobody knows what it is. Sweet dream.
I was today years old when I learned about the monster study, and honestly, I wish I never did. Well, in 1939, the University of Iowa decides, hey, let's just take a group of orphan children and psychologically torture them. Let's just do that. For funsies, for kicks and giggles. So basically, for the experiment, they have 2 controlled groups of children. One controlled group has a stutter, the other control group does not have a stutter. They want to test out whether or not they can have this control group that doesn't have a stutter to develop a stutter when they are consistently shamed and spoken negatively to. So basically that's what happened. For months and months and months on end, these children would be taken into 2 separate rooms. The ones that did have a stutter, were given regular treatment, spoken positively to, and the ones that didn't were quite literally psychologically damaged this entire time. Some of them developed a stutter and others just stopped speaking altogether and had just ongoing trauma from that. Mind you, little babies, little kids who had no one to advocate for them. It's actually terrifying. Okay, so at this point, the case is buried for 50 years. Then come the early
that it should have been burning traveling.
Okay, so if you thought that we have crazy things that we do for beauty in this era, let's talk about the Victorian era. Yeah, this was the tapeworm diet. Much like the 90s and early 2000s, and even kind of now, the beauty standard was extremely thin. And I mean like 16-inch waist, like extremely freaking thin. So they would willingly ingest tapeworms in their like baby state and their larvae state until they would grow full, which would be like 30 inches long. I'm talking about 30 inches freaking long. Okay. At that point, they would then, because it's an adult, want to get it out of them and then ingest another tapeworm. Like this was a fad diet. And if it didn't come out in the nasty, egregious ways that you would remove a tapeworm, can't get into that because I don't want my video taken down. They would put like this bait hook down into their throat all the way into their intestine. And like the doctor would just kind of like poke it up and down with bait on it. So the tapeworm would try to eat it. And then they just pull pull it out of their throat. Oftentimes that didn't work because obviously the person would choke and die. So yeah, that's honestly, super horrible way to die, but also a really dumb way to die. What? But then again, this is the Victorian era where they used to brush their teeth with human feces imported overseas and also not use latrines correctly. They would throw their poop out the window. I mean, not really a very incredible time for hygiene or sanitary reasons. Anyway, as always, make sure you like and follow. Comment down below if you like to hyperfixate on things in the middle of the night like I do. If you do, you're gonna love it here.
Netanyahu, it is confirmed he's alive. The whole thing was weird. People were like, he's dead, he's gone. And then these videos started popping up where they're like, oh, look, he's talking and there's 6 fingers. It's clearly AI. And he was in the coffee shop. People were like picking apart that.
His teeth were weird. The date was off on the back screen. Yeah. I saw it. I'm like, this doesn't seem like a normal video at all.
And then he had the thing where he's like walking with Huckabee and he's like, I'm alive. I'm here with all 5 fingers. And he's like, here's my punch card. I'm getting the names off, and you're like, this is so weird.
Yeah, they're playing into it almost.
Whoever is doing this whole thing, they know that you're going to watch these videos and try to pick them apart.
Why?
What's happening?
Like, what's the purpose behind
Justin,
it?
what's happening?
Antichrist.
Probably.
We haven't had a year, I don't think, that like has just felt so doomy.
I mean, just a great reset, like a AI takeover.
And it is like one of those sci-fi movies from the 80s where it's very dystopian.
Did you see that new movie with Chris Pratt? The AI courtroom?
I didn't see it. I heard it got terrible reviews, but the concept of it is not far off.
AI versus Sasquatch. Who's going on top?
Dude, Sasquatch, he's got...
Not Elon Musk shutting Erica Kirk down. All over the Drewski skit where he impersonated a lot of Erica Kirk's famous moments. For press interviews, Erica's mini podcast interviews, complete with the Holy Bible, absolutely terrifying crazy-eyed stare. I say Drewski absolutely nailed. She has since taken to social media demanding that the video be taken down, alleging that it was AI and that he should have been able to take this down immediately. It's clearly not AI, it is a comedian who is dressing up and impersonating her in a funny way. G then tagged Elon Musk himself and said it's racked over 150 million views. It's humiliating, it's mocking me, turning me into a global joke. Really proving that she hasn't been seeing any of the videos people have been making about her, because even some of her biggest defenders are now questioning all of her motives since her husband's death. Elon Musk himself being one of those who simply told Erica Kirk he was not going to take any of the videos down. The video has 150 million views because people want to watch it. It supports free speech, comedy, parody, and content people choose to engage with. We are not removing lawful content just because it offends somebody. That is not how this platform works. Entire internet feud happening just a short time after Elon Musk himself reposted Erica Kirk's post where she told the world to go to church. So we shall see how far she takes this fight and how many views this video will get.
Holy fuck, chat. Palm Beach Pete was on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Watch this.
Please say hello now to Palm Beach Pete, who is standing by. Hi, Pete. When did you first realize you were a doppelganger for Epstein?
It's been going on for a while, but it really went out of control when he got arrested and it was on the front page of every major magazine and newspaper.
Do people actually mistake you for him?
They give me the double look, but now that I've gone viral, Jimmy, it's nonstop. They want to take pictures of me, my autograph.
Can you prove you aren't Epstein? Do you have any wonderful secrets? Is there anything that you could say to convince us that you are not Jeffrey Epstein?
I'm totally not Jeffrey Epstein. He's dead.
You want people to know, even though there's a strong resemblance between you and you live where he lived, that you are not Jeffrey Epstein.
100%, Jimmy. I have nothing to do with him.
Jeffrey Epstein is not a name you answer to, have ever answered to, or plan on answering to in the future.
No, Palm Beach Pete, that's who I am.
If somebody were to come up to you and say, hey, look, it's Jeffrey Epstein, you would say, no, I am not.
I would say, yeah, dude, I've heard it a lot of times. I'm Palm Beach Pete, living my life.
Let's say Jeffrey Epstein was still alive and I were to point at him and then I were to point at you. Those fingers would be pointing in totally different directions, right?
No, I'm the better looking guy.
Yes, and your position is that Jeffrey Epstein is not, in fact, you.
Correct. I'm Beach Pete, living my life.
Would you be willing to play Jeffrey Epstein in a film, a movie, maybe even a Hallmark Christmas kind of thing?
I'm open to all opportunities if they're right.
So your stance is that Jeffrey Epstein is not me.
I am not he.
You are Palm Beach Pete, who is, in fact, an entirely different person than Jeffrey Epstein.
Correct, Jimmy.
This was a Venn diagram. There's a circle here that is you, and there's a circle here that is Jeffrey Epstein. There's no overlap whatsoever between, because you are not Jeffrey Epstein.
That's correct. I am not Jeffrey Epstein. I'm Palm Beach Pete.
Thank you for not being Jeffrey Epstein. But we have a gift for you that maybe you want to do something with and share with your fans. We made you a T-shirt, and I'm going to send this to you. It's for people who
love it.
Palm Beach Pete, but want nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. What do you think?
I love it. It's fantastic. You guys are the best.
Is it just me, or does something feel off?
When I tell people that I think sirens exist, they look at me like I'm crazy, and then I look at them like they're crazy because I'm like, how do you think that we're the only ones out? And don't y'all remember when Congress said that there's a presence in the ocean, but everyone glossed over it, just like when they said UFOs exist, and all the crazy people were looking at each other like, bro, we said this like a decade ago and none of y'all believed us. But yeah, I'm looking at them crazy because bro, the ocean is absolutely crazy. I remember, I told y'all this already, but I'm going to say it again. I remember I was on a cruise and I went out to the tip of the boat, right? And this was like in the AMs because I've always thought the ocean was so interesting and I've always felt like sirens exist, but I did not have the ability to actually pinpoint like where they come from until I read the Book of Enoch, which I read as history, not scripture. But yeah, I was at the tip of the boat and y'all, when I looked out into those waters, the water, it was so much of it, and it was so dark, and it was so, like, daunting. I just felt like I did not belong there, bro. Like, do y'all know that feeling? Like, when someone's watching you, like, you can't prove that they're watching you, but they're watching you. That's how I felt. That's literally how I felt. And it gave me the skeevies so bad that I had to go into my cabin. I just think it's crazy that there's so many fishermen that their whole entire job is to go out into the sea. And so many of them have stories of seeing sirens, scuba divers going in and then seeing sirens. What about the ocean? What about this deep abyss makes people think that it's just jellyfish and crabs in there? Like, what makes you think that? We have phenomenons like the Bermuda Triangle, eddies. Eddies are large, extremely large black holes in the ocean that are the size of Texas, can go on for months and years, and scientists do not know where they go. No scientist has been able to like actually study where eddies go. Eels, like, and these are just animals, bro. Not even getting into sirens and stuff. Eels have no reproductive organs and all go to the Bermuda Triangle. Like, they go in mass multitudes to the Bermuda Triangle to reproduce, and then they come back in numbers. Like, they come back multiplied by 10. And no scientist, again, knows how they reproduce. Like, they've never seen it. But somehow there's more and more eels. Like, are they aliens at this point? What? The ocean is crazy. So you're telling me all of this happens and you don't think that there are sirens out there, bro? You don't think, like, we literally found out that there's a mega ocean under the ocean.
The FBI is now officially sending out a warning that criminals are now showing up to people's homes wearing real-looking badges and federal agent jackets. So this is obviously insane, but the FBI just issued a warning that criminals across the country are impersonating federal agents, and they're saying that they are getting disturbingly good at it.
Their badges are fake, but the danger is pretty real. The FBI asking for your help to stop some imposters who are posing as federal agents.
They're showing up at people's houses with realistic badges, wearing official-looking jackets, and in some cases...
You saw the title, it's correct. Many disturbing videos we're about to watch together. Buckle up because it gets intense.
US and Israel have begun demolishing bridges in northern Iran. What you're looking at is the explosion of the B1 bridge, one of the tallest structures in West Asia. Now, this is a grave escalation of targeting civilian infrastructure. This bridge crosses the Karaj River in northern Iran. Trump posted this on social media, the bridge blown up, saying that much more will follow. They need to make a deal before there is nothing left. Edge of war, it's more important now than ever to know what you're being fed online. With a tool like Athelia, you can find out in a few moments what your social media is pushing you on the algorithm, or if it's Israeli propaganda. Trump's becoming so desperate to try to force Iran into a negotiation that he's bragging about bombing civilian bridges.
One of the F-15 crew members that was shot down over Iran today has reportedly been recovered. Additionally, the White House press secretary has said that Trump has been briefed on the incident, and reportedly search and rescue efforts for the other crew member are still ongoing. I'll keep updating you all throughout the day. Follow to stay informed.
A young man named Ryan Simmons was present on UVU's campus the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination, and he alleges that he shot a video that showed the bullet coming from behind Charlie. This seriously goes against the official narrative that Tyler Robinson shot from the front, and he apparently was talking to the FBI after, who tried to pressure him into deleting the video, and he refused, but magically the video deleted off his phone. So I was like, there has to be some software out there that lets you archive really important receipts of these things that are going on. So I used Emergent, and it let me literally build a full app out of a prompt. So if you have something clever that you come up with that is a good tool that I could use or others could use to help stay kind of organized in this debacle of trying to understand what the real narrative is, let me know, share it with me. And yeah, anyways, this is my driver, and I'm sorry to all you computer programmers out there. I never needed any of those coding classes.
Massive news, the Iranians have shot down an F-15 American fighter jet, and search and rescue missions are underway. This happened this morning, and as I speak right now, multiple helicopters, refueling planes, and reconnaissance planes are in the skies looking for the two pilots, because the F-15 seats two that are somewhere in Iran. Here's the seat from the pilot, proving that he is somewhere out there in Iran right now. Yet again, there's two of them, they only found one seat. And there was an unconfirmed photo of a Black Hawk helicopter being shot by man pads by the Iranian military. Here's another image of the Special Forces helicopter that could have been shot down. You can see more image here of the refueling planes and the helicopters. Now, the pilot does have a tracker. Iran has placed a bounty and a reward if any Iranian civilians or military can find either of the 1 to 2 pilots alive. Now, this is the first fighter jet that has been destroyed and crashed. The other ones were just hit. The U.S. has confirmed it was shot down and searches were underway. Comment your thoughts. Follow me right here for the news update on this and other situations.
An E-3 Sentry has officially been destroyed in combat for the very first time. These pictures just surfaced showing the destroyed plane. It was on the ground at Prince Sultan Air Base when an Iranian ballistic missile and drone attack hit the airport. And as we can see, it's completely destroyed. There are also reports that at least one more E-3 was also damaged during these attacks, but that's not confirmed. As we learn more, I'll make an update.
I was today years old when I learned that goats, wild goats' horns, when they're not cut by their shepherd or whatever they're called, they blind the goat. Like, they curve around the goat and blind the goat by the end of its life. So it's walking through its life completely singed, engorged by...
Wait, hold on. You're telling me if they don't get their horns shaved off, they could possibly puncture their eyes? Oh, that's crazy.
And we know that the devil is always...
How do they deal like that in the wild?
I mean, can we get any better symbolism than that? We literally hear from the Bible that says the devil has blinded the world, but maybe he blinded himself first by his own, pride. Dang, so good. Anyways, this is my driver, and Once again, I'm a girl, I'm not supposed to preach, but sometimes I just get so excited, okay? God puts his symbolism everywhere. Here we go. Anyways. Oh, that one was a top flight, so I can't hear right now.
Israel's being absolutely destroyed, and we found a way to prove it even though they banned recording any of the missile strikes. The sky turned red all over again. Pam Bondi got fired, and Michigan declared a state of energy emergency because of the gas prices. So we got a lot to talk about today. I'm going to try to run you through this as quick as possible and give you guys as best information as possible. So the sky turned red all over again. We just saw what happened in Australia. Now this is happening in Greece. And unfortunately, during this event, one man actually lost his life. There's mass flooding following this event, and it turns out the man got pinched under a car whenever the flooding came in. It seems like every single day we get more and more end times prophecies, more signs going on. Now is the time to pick up the Bible, pick up the Quran, and start praying. Turns out Pam Bondi just got fired today, and it's probably not a good thing because the guy who's replacing her, Trump, is saying she is leaving for a much needed job in the private sector. She doesn't give us much information whatsoever, but she's being replaced by Todd Blanche, which I personally find more dangerous because he is better at covering things up than she is. If you look into his work and what he did about the hush money case that Trump was under, you'll see that this guy is a lot better than she was. She tried to cover up the Epstein files, left behind a legacy of that, and was not very good at it. So if we're looking for transparency in government, we're probably not going to get it with this guy. Now, Israel is trying to claim that they're not taking much damage at all. They're trying to hide it by sentencing people to 5 years in prison if they record the missile impacts. This doesn't work. You know why? Property insurance claims. Since February 28th, there has been over 21,000 property insurance claims in Israel. Once again, this is since February 28th. If the Iron Dome is doing such a great job and you're wearing out Iran, how come there has been over 21,000 property insurance claims? Now, on top of all that, Michigan just declared a state of energy emergency. This is actually insane. We need to end this war because this is getting out of hand. And I think a lot more states are about to do the exact same thing. So the reason why Michigan did this is so they can relieve some of the restrictions that they have in place. These are environmental restrictions, policies that are put into place to protect the ozone and things like that. When they declare a state of an emergency, they're allowed to remove these restrictions, and they're doing this hoping that they can reduce the price at the gas pump, which will help out everybody. I'm sure you guys are aware of this, but gas doesn't just affect you and me. It doesn't just affect people commuting to work. It makes the cost of everything go up. And this is because everything has to get delivered. Everything has to get to the gas station to buy it. Everything has to get to the grocery store to buy it. You need fuel to do any.
More people dead underground in Paris than there are above ground. 6 million bodies in the Paris catacombs. People don't go into this enough. Let's talk about 7 freaking creepy things about Paris catacombs. Fact number 1, in the 1700s, like, there were cemeteries that were causing disease outbreaks, so they would take the bodies and put them underground in Paris. And it's not just like random, they were put in these weird sections. Some people still can't decipher what sections they were put in, and there are entire walls of skulls just like this. I'm pretty sure this is probably like a real picture. Remains date back to like 1,000 freaking years. What? Number 2, the entire catacomb stretches, I believe it's 200 plus miles under Paris. And there are still miles and miles that we have never discovered. We don't know really what's down there. There are said to be hidden rooms, time lapses where like time doesn't make sense down there. Like, people have, that brings me to number 3, right? People have gotten lost and never found. Except this one man, right? He disappears, and then years later his body is found, and he's still clutching his camera. Post-mortem, clutching his camera. They watch the footage, and they find that the last piece of footage on there was him freaking running from something, and they don't know what it is. They couldn't see what it was. Y'all don't understand. It's actually like literally a maze down there. What? Why would you even want to go? Number 4, just like almost anything that is old in history.
I would go.
People have gone down there and heard
Sam and
whispers,
Colby
they've
went.
heard footsteps, and there are sudden drops in temperature. Like, multiple people have attested, not even like in the same group, different like situations. People are like, oh my gosh, it randomly got super cold in here, and that doesn't even make any sense. Oh my gosh, I'm hearing things. I'm hearing whispers. And these are in groups, and you could say, okay, they're probably just scared, but they're not exploring it alone. They're in groups. So why would they? I don't know. Maybe that's just hysteria. I'm not sure. I believe it. I believe just about anything these days. There have been secret gatherings and rituals in the catacombs, and they found evidence of like occult structures. They have found evidence of sacrifice. Because it's so long and is, like I said, a literal maze, like, you genuinely don't know what.
I remember I used to actually go into this a little bit. I watched many videos on the Paris catacombs, and I remember hearing a lot of people saying, you better go with a group of people and you better know where you're going, because people actually either live there or go down there to like have rave parties. It's crazy. It can get crazy down there. So you better know what you're doing, or else you get lost and, you know, you're never going to be found ever again.
Happening. It's just like deep, dark woods or the ocean. It literally plays like psychological tricks on you. This is kind of just more science than spooky. Like I said, miles and miles of just human remains
Right.
next to you.
Yeah.
There's no natural light, and it's super suffocating. Me, personally, as a claustrophobic girly, I could actually never. But yeah, a lot of people just feel like they're going insane down there. Again, why put yourself into this? I forgot the 7th one. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I can make this into a whole series of different. I know you guys are always like, oh, stop asking us if we want a series. Of course we want a series. But I'm still gonna ask you. As always, make sure you like and follow, and let me know if you want a series. All those spooky things that we can't really explain around the world.
Attorney General Pam Bondi was fired today, and yes, that is the same Pam Bondi that was in court talking about the Epstein files, saying a whole lot but very little at the same time. Although President Donald Trump gave a very positive social media post about Pam Bondi, there are rumors that she allegedly betrayed him and he didn't like the way she handled the Epstein files. Allegedly, Trump believes that Pam Bondi tipped off Eric Swalwell about the FBI's efforts to release investigative documents related to Swalwell's relationship with an alleged Chinese spy. Eric Swalwell asked the FBI not to release files on his past association with Christine Feng. A cease and desist letter sent by Swalwell's lawyers to the FBI Director Kash Patel on Monday. Swalwell, a leading Democratic candidate in California's governor's race, asked that Patel and the FBI agree in writing by Wednesday not to release the files. The letter suggested that releasing the investigative files would violate Swalwell's First Amendment rights. It reported that Kash Patel himself was working on the files, but insiders believe Pam Bondi leaked the information to Swalwell. Allegedly, Pam Bondi pleaded with the president to give her more time in the role, but then Trump remained firm that her time leading the agency was over. This is all alleged, but it's being reported by a few different publications.
Yes, dinosaurs don't make sense. I think that they're dragons. Why? It's very simple. Ever since the beginning of human history, since we have learned to develop writing and beyond that, we have been talking about dragons. The ancient Mesopotamians developed the first written language ever, Sumerian, and the first thing that they did was write a heroic epic and then talk about dragons. Dragons appear in literally every single mythology around the world despite them having no previous interaction with each other. Dragons appear in ancient Near Eastern mythology, in Proto-Indo-European mythology, in Asian mythology, in African mythology, in Mesoamerican mythology. Dragons appear in literally every culture around the world, and do you know what else also appears all around the world? Dinosaur fossils. However, no ancient source has ever described dinosaurs. I'm not even necessarily saying that I don't think dinosaurs existed. I'm just saying it doesn't really make sense to say that dinosaurs did exist but dragons didn't, when those fossils could very well be the fossils of dragons.
That's
It's
true.
just weird. It's one of those
Who
things
knows?
that makes you think that there's a grand conspiracy behind it, because it's like, why would there not be dragons? If you think about it, it's even crazier that there are dinosaurs. It makes less sense. The fact that we even have such a wide range of dinosaurs, even ones that fly in the sky like a dragon.
Those are
And I'm telling
dragons.
you, if
Who
you
knows?
just threw some wings on there, a lot of these dinosaurs would look just like dragons. And I mean, we kind of know what dragons look like, because even though every culture depicts them slightly differently, they all look relatively similar. So yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me that those bones are dinosaurs when they could very well just be dragons and we're just calling them different names.
If you were born before the year 2009, you know that Tiger Woods is a crash out. Tiger Woods, despite being one of the greatest athletes of all time, just spends his time just being an idiot with his tons and tons of money. He's had multiple DUIs that span over several decades. He's famous for cheating on his wife with multiple mistresses. Like, he's not a good dude, right? And just having another Tiger Woods adventure, he decides to get hopped up on some pills and flip his car in Southern California. Now, luckily, no one was hurt, but he still didn't want to face any consequences for the fact that he was endangering everyone on the road. So the body cam footage has finally come out of this situation, and you can see him kind of like walk into the frame and said, "I just got off the phone with the president." And basically he's trying to imply that because he talked to Donald Trump on the phone, that would somehow get him out of like a DUI arrest or something. And that's when I have to say that the president is powerful, but the president isn't all powerful, yo. Like, the president can't come and pardon you for a DUI. Duh. And the funny part about it is too, is like the cop was probably going to let him slide anyway, just because he's rich, right? I mean, that's what cops are here for, to just protect the interests of the wealthy. So it's not really likely he was going to face any consequences anyway. But honestly, if I was this cop, I'd be like, no, like, I'm definitely arresting you now. I don't care who you called. Like, you literally almost clapped this person over here. MAGA is the moral philosophy of spoiled brats that don't want to face consequences. But you're not a spoiled brat because you made it to the end of the video. So thank you. And you can thank me by liking, sharing, or following. Or you can also support me by streaming my music. Making videos for you is my full-time job. So if you want to help me get a little bit of extra money, then stream my new single, Miss Your Body. It's out now.
Guys, Trump's lawyers just tried to compare him to Eminem in court. So basically in Trump's January 6th case, Trump's team is arguing when he said things like fight like hell, he didn't mean them literally. They're saying it's like when a rapper uses aggressive or violent language on stage, like it sounds intense, but no one takes it as an actual call to violence. And they literally brought up Eminem lyrics as an example to say he's just using protected speech under the First Amendment, so Trump must be too. You know somewhere Nicki Minaj is livid right now that they didn't name drop her. And it's especially ironic because Eminem is aggressively anti-Trump. Anyway, the judge was not having Trump's defense and said this isn't some performance or character. Trump was the sitting president talking to a crowd he knew was angry, and he was pushing election lies and sending them towards the Capitol while Congress was literally certifying the election results. And in this context, the judge said the jury can absolutely see this as incitement. So he rejected Trump's whole argument and ruled that Trump is not immune to these January 6th lawsuits, and they're moving forward. News girls will keep tracking these lawsuits and bringing you anything you need to know, so follow to stay in the loop.
Where do you think they got the girl from the files in the Snow White costume? I'm gonna be showing you some emails, so feel free to pause the video whenever you need to read them. I suggest you read them. Now I've made a petition to bring down these powerful people. Comment now, and I will send it to you.
Two American pilots are currently missing in Iran after their F-15E fighter jet was shot down by Iranian air defenses. And as I speak, there is a search and rescue operation underway. This was reported earlier when videos started to emerge of American search and rescue aircraft flying incredibly low over Iran, whilst a random Iranians shot at them, clearly looking for something, after the Iranians showed photos of fighter jet debris inside the country. If they are not found quickly, these two pilots who are responsible for the mass killings of Iranian civilians are quite likely either in huge danger or they will be taken as prisoners of war by the Iranians to be used as bargaining chips to negotiate a better deal with the Americans, adding yet another headache and a complication of American war aims against Iran. This is absolutely huge and massive news because previously an F-35 fighter jet was hit by the Iranians, but it made a safe landing. This time it has not.
Okay, here's the first official image of Earth from space from the new Artemis rocket. Do you see anything wrong with it? Look at the size of Australia. Here you go, the blue marble. Do you honestly believe this, dude? Look how fake it is. Once you see it, you really can't unsee it. Once you realize it's all CGI, it's all AI, it's all freaking computer generated, you cannot go back to being like, wow, yeah, I guess we are spinning, and pretty quick too. And aren't we rotating around the sun at 66,600 miles an hour? 666? And if there's this crazy war going on right now, what are we willy-nilly going on and going to the moon? And you know what's also cringe? The comments. The comments is like, this is such an amazing step for humanity.
It's a distraction.
We're going to the moon again.
It's a distraction.
You can't go to the moon. There's no space. There's no planets. It's all fake. But I know some people aren't ready for that. Still lots of fluoride is coursing through people's veins, calcifying their pineal gland. Well, if you want to decalcify your pineal gland, right now we're giving away free $100 bags of the organic heirloom cacao from Bolivia, the chocolate powder, which not only is believed to decalcify the pineal gland, but it also massively increases stem cell production, which goes and repairs damaged tissue and damaged cells. And if you combine that with the hormone-optimizing, fertility-boosting, hot water-purified Shilajit, you're getting some of the most powerful superfoods in the natural globe. Comment free below and check your DMs for details.
You're officially 1/4 finished through 2026, so this is the energy I'm going to need you to bring for the rest of the 3/4 of the year. Have you ever thought you were in love with someone but then realized you were just staring in a mirror for 20 minutes? I need you to bring that energy. I wish I could run across the beach into my own arms. Same. Maybe I could be skinny and tall, but I'll settle for being the greatest artist of all time as a consolation. See the bright side in things. I no longer have a manager. I can't be managed. If someone's making you mad at work, bring this energy. I'm not gonna lie, I love me so much right now. Period. I feel so bad for my exes, like imagine losing me. If you're going through a breakup, I need you to put this as your lock screen, like immediately. I need a room full of mirrors so I can be surrounded by winners. Please do everything you possibly can in one lifetime. Yes. So for the remainder of 2026, especially if it's not going great, I need you to have that old Kanye mindset. I will also try my hardest.
As one of the biggest womanizers in American history, marry a woman who is willing to burn everything down that he built. I'm going to call it karma, but let's get into it. Crystal Hefner is the wife of the late Hugh Hefner, man who made millions selling pictures of women's bodies. But then she found out he was keeping scrapbooks, and not scrapbooks of his business. Scrapbooks and diaries containing such disgusting material of women who very obviously are intoxicated and what she believes may even be underage children, that she is now demanding Hugh Hefner Foundation be investigated. Same foundation who has defending civil liberties and rights to promote and advance individual freedoms with very strong imagery on their homepage. The reason she is now coming out publicly demanding an investigation is while she was a part of the foundation, she tried protecting everyone inside of those scrapbooks and diaries. Because she refused to drop it, they pushed her out of the foundation. Now that she has made this public, she's making it crystal clear what she found inside of those scrapbooks. I am not referring to images that appear in magazines. My focus is on the Hugh Hefner's personal scrapbooks chronicled private moments that were taken behind closed doors. Photos, videos, and diaries that span to the beginning of the 1960s. Many images of girls who were underage at the time, including images of women who did not consent to their images being taken in the first place, including images taken while these victims were intoxicated. When Hugh Hefner's wife was trying to fight this battle to protect these victims behind closed doors, the foundation had a bunch of excuses, alleging that a lot of the scrapbooks were in different residents, explaining that they were simply just a piece of history, of which is acceptable for the women and girls victimized in those books. Hugh Hefner's wife went on to say that I am seeking dignity, safety, and the destruction of non-consensual, intimate material so that the exploitation does not continue under the banner of philanthropy. Just to make it crystal clear, she added, women's bodies are not property, not history, and not collectibles.
Epstein wants the world to see him as mostly harmless, a mind ahead of his time. Steve Bannon asks Epstein, what are you, a class 3 sexual predator?
Tier 1.
What's tier 1's the highest and worst?
No, I'm
the lowest?
I'm the lowest.
You're the lowest. Okay, tier 1, you're the lowest.
Jeffrey Epstein is wrong, or he's lying. I opt for the latter. New York's Offender Registration Act classifies Tier 1 as the lowest risk, which is technically what he says, but Epstein was classified as level 3 offender in the state of New York, which is the highest, most dangerous tier. In fact, something totally bizarre happened. A Manhattan prosecutor asked the judge to bump Epstein down from Tier 3 to Tier 1 because his crimes were committed all the way in Florida. This is ADA Jennifer Gaffney, by the way, who was the deputy chief of crimes in the Manhattan DA's office. See, even the judge was confused. The judge was alarmed, flabbergasted. Did the prosecutor suffer a major brain injury on the way to work?
That is so sus.
Exactly. The judge denied the request, and Jeffrey Epstein remained a Tier 3 offender in the state of New York, which is neither a Tier 1 offender, nor is it the lowest risk offender. Epstein says that while former world leaders like Bill Clinton have long biographies, he just thinks of himself as
Jeffrey Epstein, just a good kid.
Library about the Library of Alexandria, where centuries and centuries,
it's like books,
history, literally like world history, burned in a fire. That library was in Egypt, and it had so much information of not even just regular history that they knew, but the beginning of what they had. So they had so much that it was just, and who knows, some of that might have been like another genius. You know, we have like Plato, Socrates, and all these families, probably like Zarlos, you know what I'm saying?
I said Zarlos.
Women act like giving birth is the hardest thing in the world. There are guys working construction in 100-degree heat every day. Women have been having babies forever. How hard can it be? It's just pushing for a few hours. Women's bodies are made for it, so it can't be that bad. Millions of women have done it. How hard can it really be?
Remember when we invaded Iraq and killed 500,000 people because we were under the assumption that Iraq had nuclear weapons? But, they didn't. You know, surprise. I think we should have apologized for that, but instead we just stole Gilgamesh. And it's probably just sitting in the Smithsonian for no reason. But this is my driver. And, yeah, the world is just super interesting, isn't it? And we gotta be roped into this somehow.
13-year-old who went missing over 30 years ago has been found alive. Her name is Christina Marie Plant, and she disappeared on May 15th, 1994 from Star Valley, Arizona. At the time, she was just a kid living in a small, quiet town where nothing like this was supposed to happen. That day, Christina left the area of her home and she never came back. There were no confirmed sightings, no clear suspects. Search teams were sent out. The Gila County Sheriff's Office conducted interviews, followed tips, and spent years trying to find her, but every lead went nowhere. And eventually the case went cold for 3 decades until today. And authorities really aren't releasing any details or information about what happened, the circumstances, if she was kidnapped, if she's been reunited with her family. And they say it is out of respect for Christina's privacy. It's a statement that they released. The Gila County Sheriff's Office is announcing a successful resolution to a decades-old missing persons case that began in May 1994 when 13-year-old Christina Marie Plant disappeared from Star Valley, Arizona. Christina was reported missing after she vanished without a trace from her community. At the time of her disappearance, extensive search efforts were conducted involving local law enforcement, volunteers, and regional resources. By exhaustive ground searches, interviews, and investigative follow-ups, no visible leads were developed. Christina was entered into a national missing children's database, and missing persons flyers were distributed locally, statewide, and in other parts of the country. Over the years, the case remained open and active, with investigators periodically re-examining evidence and pursuing new information as it became available. The formation of the Gila County Sheriff's Office Cold Case Unit marked a renewed commitment to unresolved investigation. Utilizing advances in technology, modern investigative techniques, and detailed case review, detectives developed new leads that ultimately led to a breakthrough. After 32 years, Christina Marie Plant has been located alive. Investigators have confirmed her identity, and her status as a missing person has been officially resolved. Out of respect for Christina's privacy and well-being, additional details will not be released at this time. As many others probably are, I'm very curious to know what were the circumstances of her disappearance and what led to her ultimately being found. Either way, I'm glad she was found.
They already caught him, y'all. They already caught him. You see this arrow right here? I want y'all to watch very, very closely right here. I'm dead serious. Watch. This is going to blow your mind. I'm not joking, y'all. Look. You see that? No, that's not dust cloud. Now watch. Now watch. The dust clouds are way down there below. What is that? Now look, do you see this little basket thing? Now look, I'm going to show y'all another image of this is how they travel allegedly from the spaceship, like down the little zip line. Look at the top left. Look, there's the ship. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Okay, hold on. Let's just go over it one more time because I know y'all haven't fully understand. Okay, now look closely now. What is that and where is that coming from? Why is that right there? That's what you need to be asking yourself. All this, because this right here is insane. All right, look, so I zoomed in right here. Now look at this little thing. You see the two little notches right there and right there? Could that possibly be that right there and that right there? No, this isn't AI or Photoshop. Don't be talking about that either. And don't be saying it's the dust cloud either, man, because look, that's way up there. All the dust and stuff is down here. And again, as you can see, look at the notches right there, man. Like, really look at that. What is that? You can see the ship right here. Apparently, allegedly, it's like a little zip line. Is what they take. Could that be what that is? And does that mean they just escaped? For the alleged Challenger, that was a allegedness of the Challenger shuttle that, anyways, we won't go there. I don't want to get the video taken down. Probably already will. But y'all have a great day, man. Get out and get some sunshine. Look at that. Whoa, son. Have a good one.
I just wanted to come on here and set the record straight about the wife who caught her husband cheating while she was away on a work trip. People are getting a lot of things wrong, and I'm here to clarify it because I still have a picture of when she posted this. I think this was a year or two ago on Reddit. The only reason she caught her husband cheating was because she had gotten a digital scale in her bathroom to weigh herself. It was a smart digital scale, and it was one where you can get it for $30 at Walmart, and they go all the way up to $200. Her husband never connected it to his phone. except she did. So she was seeing him weighing himself, and basically it looks like this man was like weighing himself before and after he took a dump. Like, that's what I think he was using it for, so of course he didn't take it seriously. She took it seriously. So she had it where she would get these alerts, and then she got this alert. 120 pounds at 12:26 a.m. So at midnight, someone weighing 120 pounds got on her scale, not once, twice. These are the kind of scales we're talking about. And when she shared this story, the amount of men who were trying to defend this husband, there was this whole thing where like, well, maybe he just stood on it with one foot. So then men tried to make it go to like a specific weight, and the highest they could get it to go on one foot was 96 pounds. These were all men who weighed about the same as her husband did. Needless to say, she knew. There was no one else in the house. It was supposed to just be her husband. Why was someone 120 pounds standing on her scale at around 12?
United Airlines has just unveiled their brand new lie flat seat, but it's actually just 3 economy seats. Like I said, it's just 3 economy seats, but with an extra cushion at the end of each one, which with a mattress pad allows you to lie down. They're adding this feature to over 200 of their aircraft on 787s and 777s. But I'm curious, what would this need to be priced at to make it worth it for you?
Please tell me y'all have seen this new mannequin that Balenciaga has. It's a woman with a chain hanging out of her mouth dangling over a chandelier. And it's like hyper realistic. And I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like a meat chain from like a butcher.
Why?
And this is the model that they modeled this after right here. Now, this isn't the first time people have questioned Balenciaga's mannequins. Here's another one. They all look super realistic. And then there was that one mannequin where they found out that it was modeled after a runway model that went missing. This one right here. And a lot of people think that these are like real people. But this isn't the first time Balenciaga has gotten into a lot of controversy like with this. Like their campaign with teddy bears in bondage with children holding them. And then one of the pictures has like court documents talking about something that I'm not going to mention. But what a lot of people don't keep in mind about this Balenciaga stuff is this type of advertising isn't for the average person. It's just not. It's to appeal to a small percentage of people who can afford stuff like this. It's to appeal to the rich.
You're telling me that's $8,000? $8,000?
The elite. And after the Jeffrey Epstein files coming out, I'm not surprised that this is how they need to advertise their products in order to get people to buy.
$8,000.
Okay, 32 people were just arrested in Mount Everest. The workers at Mount Everest. I guess working at Mount Everest did not pay enough because they started poisoning the hikers. It says here they were lacing hikers' food with baking soda to cause severe stomach distress symptoms that mimic altitude sickness, then pressured them into emergency evacuation. Then they was forging the medical records and the logs and shit. This was an insurance play. They got $19.7 million in payouts from these illnesses that these people got on Mount Everest. Now, this is some soul bakey shit because imagine you go to Mount Everest. You already fucked up because you're on Mount Everest. But now you got to worry about your tour guide lacing your food and then being like, yo, you might need an emergency evacuation, bro. Let's get you up out of here. You look sick. The whole time, he's the one that caused the shit. And then this nigga carrying you back like everything good, getting you back to safety and shit. Nigga, fuck you. So the police in Nepal have charged 32 individuals with organized crime, fraud charges related to the plot, which involves trekking company owners, helicopter operators, and hospital executives. So 32 people, $20 million, that's about 600 grand a piece if they was busting it down all evenly. I don't know. Let's see if that jail time is worth it.
Their cold case has been solved, and this time the killer is well known. Notorious serial killer Ted Bundy has been linked via DNA to an unsolved case from Utah 52 years later. 17-year-old Laura Ann Amy left a Halloween party in American Fork Canyon, Utah in 1974, and she seemingly vanished into thin air. A month later, Laura was found dead on the side of the highway. She had been bound and was found without clothing, and she had been beaten to death. Investigators long suspected that Ted Bundy had killed Laura. In fact, police said he confessed without providing any details before his execution in Florida in 1989, but nothing definitively connected him to Laura's murder, and her case remained open and technically unsolved. Investigators had carefully preserved the evidence from Laura's case, and forensic analysts were able to identify portions of the evidence that seemed most likely to have usable DNA samples. In 2023, the state crime lab got new technology that allows investigators to extract DNA from samples even if they are small, degraded from age, or contain DNA from multiple people. That technology allowed them to identify a single male DNA profile from the evidence in Laura's case. They then submitted that profile to a national law enforcement database, and Ted Bundy's DNA was a match. So he has officially been identified as Laura's killer. That profile that was extracted can also now be used by other law enforcement agencies who have long suspected Bundy of additional unsolved murders, so he may be connected to more cases in the coming months. While Bundy cannot officially be charged for Laura's murder since he is no longer alive, at least now her family has definitive answers and her case can be closed. Laura's sister and Paula recalled riding horses with her and watching Laura feed her horse red licorice nibs. And Paula said, quote, "When she died, he would not eat those anymore." Rest in peace, Laura.
Do Amazon employees receive ninja-style training when learning how to deliver your packages? And why do I say that? Because a video that surfaced online has since gone viral. And the video is of how Amazon trains its employees when there's an object in front of them, such as a ball, or even icy weather conditions. If you haven't seen the viral training video, take a look at this. Check this out. Look at that. Like a conveyor belt contraption there. They're all harnessed in slippery conditions.
I ain't gonna lie, you good at this though. You got good balance.
Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. So if this video doesn't make you appreciate what your delivery drivers go through, then something is wrong with you. Kudos to this. That's pretty cool. And here's exactly what that sign said behind that young lady. Approaching an object in your path. Slow down. Identify the object with eyes and feet. When you're in control of your balance, step over the object with one foot, then the other. Some have claimed that this is just a bit too much when it comes to delivering packages. Do you really need this type of training? While others have applauded it and saying that it's really cool. So I guess my question to you is, do you think it's a bit too much, or is it genius? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments.
Black Hawk being used for the rescue mission of the F-15E crew was reportedly struck during the operation. The helicopter was seen here with smoke trailing out the back, but the crew is reportedly accounted for and safe. The helicopter landed in Iraq.
Leave it to Michelle Pfeiffer to show up and cause all of us to lose our minds over her hair. Ever since I saw her in Catwoman, I knew I was going to be obsessed with her. I realized that obsession would extend to her hair, but here we are with what they're calling a hair clip. But guys, I found it, and this is not a hair clip. What Michelle Pfeiffer is wearing in this amazing updo is called a hair cuff. I fell in love with it, as did so many other people, and immediately my heart was broken because someone in the comments said, "Hey guys, this is a Cartier 24 karat gold. It's like $30,000. And I wanted to cry, but then I looked it up and realized that person is a dirty, rotten liar. Because not only is this not a hair clip, this is also not from Cartier, nor is it 24 karat gold. I even found it where you have different size options. What is a hair cuff? It's basically a ponytail who then has like a little accessory piece on top, so once you tie your hair up in a ponytail, you then strategically place this so that it sits on top of your hair. You get the illusion that you have this piece magically holding onto your hair for you. Is this hair cuff $30,000? Absolutely not. I found it for $158. That's the price for this big boy right here. Can't exactly tell if that's the size of hers, but finding that there's a smaller option, I was relieved. So for a mini hair cuff, it is $98. Not what I would call affordable, but definitely not $30,000. Not affordable. If you're interested, this is the company I found these hair cuff options from. I started to compare the price of a hair cuff to one of her Catwoman suits. Honestly, the hair cuff is extremely affordable.
I have a super funny story I just want to tell y'all. Mike already knows this. And it has to do with the guy right behind Mike right here. Draco Malfoy, right? AKA my boy Tom Felton.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, bro. It was so crazy that me and Mike were at this event. We're hanging out. While we're there, my tie breaks. And he was helping me the whole night trying to fix my tie and stuff, even before we left, actually.
Yeah, it broke in the hotel.
It broke in the hotel, and he was trying to help me fix it, you know, tie it together, and we were trying to ghetto rig the whole tie, right?
We
did a good job, though.
We
got good pictures, things like that, you feel me, you know? Yeah, so while I was at the event, I just told him randomly, we were recording, and I was like, dude, I gotta take it off, because it's bothering me. Like, I just think it looks ugly. He was telling me it's not that bad, but he was like, bro, if you're gonna do it, just hurry up, bro, because, you know, there's stuff that's going on out here. So I was like, all right, it's good. I run to the bathroom in a rush. I'm in there, I'm fixing my tie in the mirror, I'm just sitting there like this. I look to my left, and I see a dude that's at the urinal. I didn't know who it was, so I, you know, me just being a talkative guy, I just talked to him, and I just said, hey, bro, is my tie messed up? Turns around and shows his face. It's Tom Felton standing in the bathroom.
Taking a piss.
And he looks at me, and he smiles, and he goes, dude, I'm taking a piss. He comes over to me, and he was just like, you know what, bro, hold on, let me see. He starts working on my tie pretty much, like trying to fix it. Eventually, he just tells me, like, you know what, bro, it's cool, just take it off, bro. And he rips my tie off, and he tells me, like, yeah, you look better without it. We had a whole conversation, we chopped it up. Bro was so cool, and it was just like the weirdest movie moment. I came back, and you see it in the vlog, like my eyes are so wide because I'm just so confused of what just happened to me. He just thought I was such a cool guy because I was normal. He was like, yeah, bro, you're the only normal guy who talked to me today. And then, you know, we took pictures, things like that. And then, yeah, bro, we just parted ways. Like, I ran out of the bathroom, and I immediately went to this guy.
And then while we're talking to him, the producer's just behind us.
Just
chopping
behind
up.
us.
I was like, whoa, this is like such like,
So-
it was so weird. I was
Yeah,
like,
to just be in proximity to like people, and it's like they're comfortable just doing their own thing
Yeah, it was
around
so
niggas
weird.
like us.
Yeah, it was
I'm
so
not saying
weird.
like we're criminals or anything,
Yeah,
but like
yeah, but
it
it's
just
like-
feels so strange.